point and all, and they damn near failed, because goddamn, we only just what? 0 point something is even dealing with this stuff. But that's all it takes, because there's always a small point to atom. Never the masses. You see, never the masses. They train you against secret societies, and I tell you, you don't need a secret society. Everything is supposed to be in a secret society. You see what I'm saying? Because the white boy is only copying shit that he got from us. So the 5,000-year-old prophecy that we'll go into slavery and time is running out, and we built Kemet and all this kind of thing here in the records and all to do that. And the whole concept of the Greeks coming in and taking all the stuff out of Kemet and all, that was all a part of the divine plan. You see what I'm saying? All a part of the divine plan. The mission, so the Egyptians realized in the prophecy said we need to bring the knowledge to the west. And you know, Osiris, one of the names for Osiris is the west. Is the west. You get that in other Book of the Dead, that Faulkner Book of the Dead, the big rust-looking one, Book of Coming Forth by Day. There's a good one coming out of the University of Chicago, a Book of the Dead, got a little beige cover. But anyway, the mission was to set up a messianic kingdom in the west, the kingdom of Osiris in the west, which we're talking about the realization of that happening right now. This would be needed after slavery to teach the dead man Osiris, because we're dead, also conscious-wise. So the priest at Komombo, which was the Kabbalistic priest, because the Kabbalah is nothing but an Egyptian discipline, which they show you on the temple of Komombo. They show you them raising up the tree of life. If anybody don't know what the Kabbalah is, that's a scale of the tree of the universe broken down, but also it's also a scale of the mechanisms in the body, also with the chakras and all that type of stuff too. So the temple priest at Komombo, which was Kabbalistic, put together a book called the Zohar. The priest at the temple of Isis, or the temple of Aset, put together some stuff, which is the Gnostic literature, where they translated a lot of stuff from Metanetta into Coptic. They used these priests from all over Africa, priesthoods from Arabia, who were Cushite Arabians, because Muhammad's father was a black man who was a Cushite Arabian, which means that Arabia used to be northern Ethiopia, northern Kush, came together under the banner of Islam, and you know them as the Moors. The Moors didn't believe in damn Islam as you believe that doggone Mickey Mouse is God. They understood at that particular time that a religious order was to be used as a political party. You don't believe that the Democratic Party is spiritual. You just in there to get some leverage if you up in the shit and all that. In this case, you're a fool, because ain't no leverage if you black in Democrat, Republican, any of that type of shit and all. And to vote means that in actuality you believe that the white man's system is God, and that's a certain energy that you do every 4 years to give him power. That's a ritual you go through. About like that Martin Luther King shit you do every year. That's a ritual you do. All these things are rituals to give them power. So voting is a damn ritual to give them power. Because to vote means that in actuality you believe that in your fiber of your being that your vote in a system is going to make life better for you. Otherwise you wouldn't even leave your fucking damn front step, let alone go downtown and pull some lever. Miss some money at work. That's a ritual every 4 years on the main one, and every other year or whatever the thing is on the local shit. You are always voting for something. Those are rituals you go through to keep him in power. His whole thing is the power to define. So Islam was basically a political system that they could unite under as the Moors. Just like Christianity, you know what I'm saying? Y'all just go to church, some people just go to church to wear their nice clothes and shit. So you're using a system to come in to do a certain thing under. You see what I'm saying? That's what this Islam was to these ancient African Egyptians, Sumerians, or whatever you want to call them. All these different African people, they're united under a banner to go up into Europe to place mysteries there so we can get those mysteries after we come out of doggone slavery. This is very key. They cultivated the leftover relics from around the world. The Moorish order was known as the Qutub, or known as the Sufi orders, or the Qutub. Now, this is the deal. Sufi is a later day word for Moor. It was the Moors, Lord of the earth. Lemuria, Mu, whatever. There's all kinds of science on that. The word Sufi is an adjective that it describes them. It means woolly-haired one. Later on it becomes a people or a religious order, but it was actually what described them, the woolly-haired ones, which was the Moors. In Sumeria they call them the black-haired ones in the Gilgamesh epics. The black-headed ones. So the Moors, this was the actual name. Later on they say Sufi, because they know us Suf. They know us, they know we're not going to doggone inquire and go into it. But it's all in the book, that boy's book, Ernest Scott's book, People of the Secret. Sufi meaning woolly-headed one. And basically it explains or describes the features of the woolly-headed ones, who are the ones they call the black or Moor. The people of El Salvador, we got this thing right here. The people of El Salvador, I think it's El Salvador, let me look and find out. Do you know they got people in South America? So-and-so, I think it's El Salvador. It's in that book, the Mayas, the Cosmogonies, 2012, and they go into it and all, and they deal with it. They say that their ancient ancestral race were called the Moors in South America. In South America, the Moors set up 16 universities in Europe to teach the complete hermetic system of both sciences. The regular education of several liberal arts, that's the byproduct shit that they give you to think you're educated. Some old byproduct damn shit. And the other one was the true education, was that mystery of the occult. That's the stuff you're going through now, thinking it's weird because you got the byproduct. They set up the Knights Templar. They set up the Knights Templar. Let's go through some of this stuff here. They set up the Knights Templar, which you will see the Knights Templar, you'll see the aspect of it in the movie Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. They set up the Knights Templar, which is the ancient order. Now what they did also is in these universities, just like you have the fraternities, they had fraternal orders too, but they were like secret societies like the York Rite, Rotto Rite, Scottish Rite, and all these secret societies, what you call the Freemason societies, was in these 16 universities. When you went to a certain level and you was worthy, you was initiated into the Moors, the Moors set up all that, including the group out of France called the Cathars, which was also found in Bosnia in the 20th century, and that's why they had to wipe their asses out with this whole Bosnia shit. The ethnic cleansing and all this kind of thing here. Now, the Moors first settled in Ireland and Scotland and in Spain. We know this because we know the Moors in Spain, but they settled in Ireland and Scotland also too. They left behind a refashioned version of the Osirian mysteries. This is very key. Called the Arthurian Romance, or the Grail Mysteries, or the Holy Grail of the King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, which is the Knights Templar. The word knight means black. The Round Table also represents the black dot. It represents the fraternal order. And it has coal burning in the middle of it, which represents carbon. And from the carbon, which is melanin, you get the night. So each one of you have melanin because you come from the triple blackness of space, the carbon realm, or dark matter. So they set up the doggone Arthurian Romance, the mysteries of King Arthur and the Holy Grail, which we'll get into in a minute, which is a fusion of myth, alchemy, and civilized structure of divine kingship or monarchy. To get into this thing, you go get the movie Excalibur. They lay the shit out in the movie Excalibur. Even down to the romance thing. You know, really, if you go into it and all, it's awesome piece. And in the movie Merlin, and when it came out with Sam Neill. Is it Sam Neill? Yeah, Sam Neill back in 98 or something like that. Which they also introduced the coat of arms. You had coat of arms, what's your coat of arms? That was the Moors who brought that shit there. The word author comes from the word Otha, which means Sirius, the dog star. It's also in Robert Temple's Sirius mystery book. So Arthur, King Arthur is King Sirius. Who is this King of Glory? Which you call it Jesus. The book called Who is this King of Glory? Break the whole Christian shit down and throw it, spit it out. You read that and still believe in Jesus and all that, you need to just put a shot to your ass, just like you do a dog in a damn veterinarian shit. Put your ass to sleep and give you a big ass pill. Who is this King of Glory? It's real scholarly though.
Who is the King of Glory?
Who is this King of Glory? Alvin Boyd Kuhn. Alvin Boyd Kuhn. K-U-H-N. Who is this King of Glory and stuff? Then they give you a big ass pill like you do a dog and just put your ass to sleep, you know. One of them big old Easter egg pills. So, they also introduced dress. They taught them how to dress. And your suit coat, your blazer comes from Nigeria and Morocco. That was given to also the European also too. The names like Morgan, which is Moor, Morris is chief, and the chief magician of all the Grails, Merlin, came from the word Moorland. The book, you want to get into all this because this is the Osirian drama. Because the Osirian drama, a lot of the shit is real in fragment and stuff. And you know, you just get the basic myth. But you really want to get into this stuff, get Excalibur. That's all this shit that's going on and it's talking about here in America. Excalibur, 1990, 1981. 81 or 82. It's excellent. You see, the book Trevor Ravenscroft mentions slightly that the Grail thing comes from Moorish origin in his book The Cup of Destiny. We'll get into the cup in a few minutes. Trevor Ravenscroft, as well as the book Rundle Clark's book, Egyptian Symbol and Myth. They literally say that this Arthurian thing ain't nothing but the Osirian thing. You know, the whole Grail mythology. Now here comes England. England comes and conquers Ireland and Scotland. Goes to war with France for 100 years. Take the mythology from the people that they conquered, brought up by the Moors, takes it back to England, and fronts and called Britain goddamn Camelot. And King Arthur's court in Britain. So they took the ancient mythology and tried to historicalize the shit. What has this got to do with us? The Camelot that the Moors was brought to them, this mythology for them to learn, was about a futuristic land and a people of ancient origin that would be in this land, and it would be a new lot of Egypt. Cam, which means Egypt, lot, Camelot, new lot of Egypt. It's like New Egypt, New England, New Bedford, New Egypt, or New Camelot, and that's America. And because the King Arthur's court deals with royalty, that's called the royal blood of the blood royal, which is this purple blood. That's the melanin in the blood of a royal order. Because it deals with royalty, we would be the damn Egyptians here. Because we're the only royal motherfuckers on the planet. The British thing is in the illusion, under the illusion of royalty. So they literally, the whole monarchy is set up as a plagiarization of a future monarchy, which is our black ass.
Hold on.
Change the tape.
Yep.
You know?
No, I'm changing.
Okay, let's go to the bathroom. Okay. All right. Okay, we back. Okay, you ready? Okay.
Yeah, they'll hear you.
All right. Now, remember I was saying that the African Americans are the heirs to the earth. And this thing is all based on royalty. But you got to understand what royalty is. It's called the sangreal, or it's called the royal blood or the blood royal. It's talking about the mistress of melanin. The only royalty there is some people that's left over from an ancient sage race of people, the ancient Africans. The doggone British studied this stuff, understood that if they could get somehow their hands in on this doggone royal aspect, that somehow they could set themselves up as the messianic people, just like the damn fake Jews did the same thing by setting themselves up as the chosen people by faking the scriptures of Solomon, by faking this whole shit in World War II to line up with the book of Psalms, to line up with the book of Proverbs, and to line up with other ancient material like the Zohar, the Hermetic material, to put themselves in line to be the messianic people. These are imposters. We know of the Jew, what we don't understand is the British. Their whole monarchy is based off of this messianic line. They call it the bloodline of the Holy Grail. The boy Sir Lawrence Gardner wrote a whole book on bloodline of the Holy Grail. Oh, thanks. You're so kind. I be careful the way I say that. I don't want that to sound like I got a hint of mint. You know, you're so kind. You say, oh shit, what's brewing here? You have to preface things these days. Niggas will have your butt buddies in a minute. Now, this is very key that you understand this. So the British studied this thing. They knew there's supposed to be a bloodline of the Holy Grail, because the Grail mystery is the Grail, the cup that bears the blood of Christ. So you go get the movie Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade. So that's the British thing. See, they running this shit with Steven Spielberg and them. So that's the British thing with the Grail thing. The Hebrew thing they did with the Ark of the Covenant, or Ark of the Covenant of Israel, which is still these two Jews and this British is trading that shit off. Why is it that these Steven Spielberg and all them, why is it that in the Star Wars trilogy, all the most superior Jedi Knights, as well as the people who are very admirable, have British accents in the movie? That's all based on psychology. Now, even Obi-Wan Kenobi, you see, but they always make the Christ figure an American white boy. So they studied this Grail mystery. And we'll go into what that means in a few minutes. They took the ancient mythology and was supposed to be a people that come from the ancient land, is supplanted in a new land, and it's crazy. That's a part of the script called the Fisher King. Get the Emma Jung and Marie-Louise von Franz. Emma Jung and Marie-Louise von Franz, the Grail legend. That's Carl Jung's wife. Emma Jung and Marie-Louise von Franz, the Grail legend. There's another book called Secret Traditions. The secret traditions in Arthurian, what's the name of this thing? Oh, your camera cut, what's that? Is your camera on? The light cut off, is that's right?
Yeah.
Okay. Secret, well get the book The Cup of Destiny by Trevor Ravenscroft. There's a book called The Secret, I'll come to it in a minute. Secret Traditions in Arthurian Romance, or Secret Traditions in Arthurian Myth. Something, Gareth Knight is his name, but I'll come back to that in a minute. Because there's several books on this King Arthur thing, but one I really want you to get is just get the damn Excalibur movie. Get the Excalibur movie. You know. Now, so, they trying to front this damn bloodline. The cup that held the blood of Christ. Deal? So, they conquered Ireland, they took this mythology, Ireland, France, and Scotland, and they say, hey, they studied it and say, hey, this is all about a royal people that will rise up in the future that will be the heir of the human race or the universe based on this Christ thing. Okay? They even got a book called Once Upon a Future King. Still talking about in the future, the return of Arthur. They say, damn man, we got this thing here, we can set up a whole royal, messianic civilization based on this whole Arthur thing. Which is talking about here in America, and they plagiarize the shit, and your whole British monarchy shit is all based on that. Including why they killed Diana, because she was supposed to name this Prince Philip motherfucker Arthur. The return of Arthur. And she didn't do it. You see. He's around 18 right now. Huh?
She was supposed to name one of her sons
Arthur, the oldest one, the one will be turning 18 right at this particular time.
Right.
and she didn't do it.
For 2,000 so they can name this motherfucker the Christ. She didn't do it. It was already married about that shit.
She understood why they wanted to do it.
Yeah, she knew. She knew. You know. I don't, you know, but that's what happened. The original Camelot was supposed to be America. The Britain plagiarized this thing. Here it is again, a stolen legacy. Now, what is this Grail? The Grail mystery is that it's supposed to bear the cup of Christ. The Grail mystery is supposed to be the cup that bears the blood of Christ. The cup is not but the pineal gland in us that bears the blood of Christ, which is melanin, is the blood of Christ. The cup is the pineal gland, but originally it was called the Grail stone, which is the stone of the builders rejected. You see what I'm saying? Will become the cornerstone, but it's also the philosopher's stone, which is also melanin. The cup or the cauldron is also in another mythology. It is the cup or the cauldron that carries the blood of the great mother, the menstrual blood called rubus elixir. Which the menstrual blood of the rubus elixir, because melanin is all through that stuff. There's a book called Dragon Time. It's funny how all these books come out and then they get out. There's a book called Dragon's Time, and in that book they talk about how those mood swings you go through is pockets of melanin and memory and stuff that's coming down at a certain time during the whole menses thing, and it's highly melanated. And they go through that whole thing up in there. Jung and them have tapped into that type of stuff also too. But the rubus elixir or this particular blood royal or the sand grail, all this stuff is talking about just melanin.
Who is that by?
I can't think of who it is. Dragon's Time is the name of it. Because dragon's blood is basically melanin, but it's also the menstrual blood. And the menstrual blood. The dragon represents the great mother Alpha Draconis. In the northern region of the hemisphere, the great mother Alpha Draconis, who has several names: Nut, Apit, Tyrt, Tiamat, and Nana. There's several names on the great mother. In the Arthurian mythology, she's the lady of the lake. Remember that. It's going to be the Lady of the Lake. And the Lady of the Lake, she gives the sword Excalibur to the man. When he gets the, whoever gets Excalibur is king. Whoever pulls Excalibur from the stone is king. And Arthur pulls it from the stone with ease and nobody else can do it. The stone represents the philosopher's stone. This is all dealing with melanin. Excalibur is the Kundalini energy. You call a sword, anytime you see the sword in this mythology, that's the sword, the staff, all that's the same thing. It's the Kundalini energy inside of you. So Excalibur represents the Kundalini energy given by the Lady of the Lake, which is the Great Mother. And the Great Mother, because the Kundalini energy is a feminine energy, a reptilian energy, the staff and the caduceus. So all this reptilian shit you hearing, you can't trace that goddamn bitch back to ancient times. You need to drop that shit off, because that's the cracker fucking with you. That's the damn tried and true. Take that stuff and try to trace it back and try to get remnants of it in our ancient mythology. So this cracker with the whole reptilian shit is trying to, he's cold, he's doing cold. Reptilian just means the black people, Kundalini race. What's that?
Yeah, Alexander Zoltak, about a month ago, he came on the air, the morning show, 98.7. He said that the United States government is playing a war against the reptilians for about 20 years. They had a newsletter came out during the summer solstice. And he was jokingly saying it, but he said
about 20 years?
He said they plan to, no, he said they preparing for an invasion from the reptilians in about 20 years. That's what Alexander Zoltak said.
The reptilians is an invasion of the Kundalini energy that is upon us. There ain't no damn reptilians coming from no other place. Now, David Blair came to Atlanta. He came to Atlanta and he said, we got white against black and black against white. Well, first of all, let's, wait a minute, hold on now. Don't talk to me, motherfucker. Ain't no black people against no white people. Black people love white people. That's the reality of this shit. And the people who looked up and said some common sense saying, man, this is all fucked up. You are now the dinosaurs if you don't like white people. You are the outcasts, the crazy people. Black people love white people. We are not against white people. Now let's tell the damn truth. Say black against white, white against black. No, wait a minute. He said, but when these blue people come, or these green people, they're so terrible until you will come to each other as allies. Now I got a damn problem with this shit. Now hold on now. This is what he said. I got it on the tape in Atlanta. So this made me look at this whole shit in a new light. Now wait a minute. You mean to tell me that you telling me that there's an imaginary blue man that's coming to the planet and he's so terrible until we'll come together as allies with white people? Fine, see, some shit just don't seem like black people are saying this shit. Some shit seem like a grand conspiracy that somebody is giving people to go out in the black community and say some shit to say, please don't kick our ass, Mr. Black Man. Now we on the verge of doing this goddamn shit, and we on the verge of doing this shit, man, in a matter of months if we can help this shit. Or if not, from this point on out, it's wartime because we're going on the offensive. And you mean to tell me the only oppressor I know is the white man, and when the black man is an oppressor, is because he got the white man's mind in him. As I say, your mind will be of another race. That's what the Egyptians say. Your body will be Egyptian, but your mind will be of another race. And you mean to tell me, you gonna tell me that some damn reptilian, some blue man is coming, and we gonna have to have allies with the white man? I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. When a blue motherfucker come, I say, wait a minute, I'll hold the cracker down. And I'll throw in 1 million fucked up niggas to clean the white man off the planet. Although, we'll give you 1 million fucked up niggas if you gotta have bodies.
That's right.
But I know one damn thing. I ain't allying with no fucking crackers for no damn enemy that I don't know shit about. That's like that Vietnam bullshit. The same old dumb shit over and over again. Now listen to this stuff here. When the blue man comes, he gonna be so terrible that you're going to have allies with the white man. You're going to run to each other. Wait a minute, what kind of shit is this?
This is Delbert Blair.
Delbert Blair said this shit.
Delbert Blair.
Like, wait a minute, what kind of shit is this Delbert Blair? Now, come on now. We boys be together, but I got a problem with this shit here. I'm going to ally with the white man. I wouldn't ally with the white man if the man was killing my ass. One time I said, I just have to go to my grave. I'm like Dr. Ben. If I go to heaven and the white man up there, I'll leave. I'll go back. But I know sooner or later that crack up there, he gonna be running heaven. And I'm gonna be serving him tea with a little white suit on like a goddamn Pullman's porter up there in heaven. Come on, Mr. Charlie. Some shit just don't make no sense. But I'm saying that's some conspiratorial shit is coming down. Just like the David Icke thing. Now, his conspiracy stuff is on the money. I mean, he really goes into it. This whole thing about the reptilian shit. The reptilian means original, it means the serpentine race. The Uraeus clown. Richard King gives you the whole shit on melanin is based on the Uraeus. The serpent that you see all over ancient Kemet. There's a book called The Return of the Great Serpent of Wisdom. That book drops all the shit. And the serpent people are called the Jedi of ancient Kemet. And the Jedi pillar is the backbone of Osiris, which is the Kundalini. And Osiris is the black god. We can drop this shit all day long. That we are related with the serpent.
What's the name of that book again?
Return of the Ancient Serpent of Wisdom. And they also, at the end of the book, this shit all ends up in America. So that's talking about us.
Who wrote it?
Can't think of the guy's name, but that's the name of it. Return of the Ancient Serpent of Wisdom.
If you just go, they have it already.
Yeah, it's real popular. I mean, you can get it, it's not out of print. But the point I'm trying to make here is, based on my studies, and believe me, I got one of the best occult libraries on the East Coast when it comes to black people. And I'm telling you that the serpentine fire and all of that type of stuff is what they're calling the reptilian. It's a code word that means black people. So when they're saying the reptilians are taking over, they say the draconians are taking over. Well, the draconians comes from the word, there was one of the ancient pre-dynastic, when your whole pre-dynastic dynasty was called the Draconian dynasties of Kemet. You ever heard the word that's awfully draconian? Well, if that doesn't exist, why would you use that?
Right.
White man use that on the news. Means it's very old, it's awfully, that's your views are quite draconian. But you look and you see words like dagon in the damn dictionary. If it didn't exist, why is it in the dictionary? Which is another name for our race, the dagon. And connected with the dogon. You see, dagon means fish. The dogon is no more the fish thing. All this stuff, all this stuff connects. So, the draconian that they talk about, because sometimes they even call them draconians and they call them reptilians. There's whole websites against the draconians. That's interesting here because there's a whole piece, and this is very key. I'm going to lay the shit down for you tonight so you'll understand what's going on. This is very key. Y'all all right? You got to know the code words, all this stuff. See, there's one in the Leading Edge Research Group, you know, which is your whole matrix people. And what they're saying here is, in the Leading Edge Research Group, they're saying, I'll read it to you. Here you go again now. There's some shit going on here. You all gotta know what time it is. What I'm trying to tell you is this. Let no male, I'm right on this thing here, no matter how fucked up you think the black woman is. This shit is centered around the black woman. Don't let no goddamn raggedy ass mouth man, that naughty head motherfucking man tell you different. It's about you. That's gonna be the key to this shit, cause gonna be black motherfuckers coming. They tell you right now that the menstrual shit is all fucked up. Because they know that the menstrual is the power, that is the sangreal and the grail, or the blood, the sangreal, or the raw blood, the rubus elixir. Tell you about the damn menstrual shit. The earthly, or the heavenly paradise that we go into is called the second Aru, fields of blood. It's in the damn Egyptian Heaven and Hell, 3 volumes. And they put that together. They put the little one book out. I think they put the first volume out, little black and gold book. They didn't even put out the other 3 volumes of Budge's Egyptian Heaven and Hell until 96, and it was 90 years later. But it's real technical stuff. I think it's kind of outmoded, but they do talk about the second Aru in there. And the second Aru is the realm, it's the heavenly realm and where we go into other dimension. And it is the feminine dimension that we're going to. That's the whole thing. That's why the Dogon say, Ibiyah, Sirius B is the next step. It's lost in Yoruba, they go Yeminyah, but Yeminyah is Maya. Why the hell the goddamn Egyptians say that the end shit is Maya? A woman. Why the hell the damn Hebrews say the whole thing is based on the Holy Shekinah being raised back up? The Gnostics say the whole thing is based on the Sophia being raised back up. This shit is about the feminine energy. That's the only energy there is. Now they got all these groups. Now here's a group. Here it is again. Because who they calling the reptilians? The myth that the females, no, look, the myth of the females as the giver of life came from those uneducated who saw the female as the one who bears a child. The female bearer is not the giver of life. The female is the oven where the bread is baked. The female serves as an important purpose in life, in the life game, starting, no, the females that served as an important purpose in life game started with the reptilians when they split the human in 2 genders. The myth serves the reptilians who are female-dominated society. Here come the goddamn bullshit. Because the white boy know that this shit is getting ready to come to you, and I told you that goddamn T.D. Jakes shit. They got thousands of damn women with that bullshit out there, and all your women is in the damn church. This shit is very key that you understand this stuff. You see, here these crackers know that the shit is rap. Here it is that African Americans, for the most part, are the heirs to earth. And here they say that these reptilians, which is the Kundalini people, because the Kundalini force is a feminine force. Anytime you get the word the great dragon, that's feminine. The great serpent, that's when you'll see a serpent which is biting his tail. That's called a great round. That's a feminine symbol. You see, that's a feminine symbol. That means a circle, and it's not linear, like masculine. You see, it's not linear. Now, these reptilians, when they split the humans in 2 genders, these reptilians are the female-dominated society. To keep the female in central is necessary for them. While the males and females should be threatened equally, they are not equal. And it goes on and stuff talking this shit about the females. Now, clearly, we know by them talking about this that they basically dismantle the whole black society. I'm not on the thing.
Nah, don't worry about it.
Oh, did we get into this stuff?
Yeah, oh yeah, but like you stood up, it was self you sit down, don't worry about it.
Oh shoot.
No, you can stand up now, I mean, I'll straighten it out.
I'm telling you, back here.
Now we know that this is dismantling the whole black society, because whether we fight it again, our whole structure of the black male is feminine in origin. The way we suffer, the white man puts the scunion to our ass just like he does his woman. We're not even able to hold a job. Oh, those are my cherries.
I know.
Oh, you don't.
I was just getting about the bad.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay, that's cool.
I ain't getting about the
We're not carrying that.
Yeah, I see. We know that whether we like it or not, our whole society as black males in the African world is based on the matriarchy, including the lineage of the family tree and everything in Africa is based on matriarchy. So what they're doing is they're doing mind fucks on you. To tear down the female, they can say, we actually talking about black people. Here you go, you got the reptilian. That's the Kundalini people. Then you attack the matriarchy, because you know damn well, even in America, this shit was based off of damn matriarchy. You see what I'm saying? Even down to even when the shit all fell apart in the 80s, when you start getting killed, the black man started getting killed in mass. He was getting killed, and his mama and shit was suffering from that shit. It's even talking about the single parent household, which is the whole widow's son, which is Isis and Horus. So we're talking about a feminine phenomenon that the black man and all that is locked up into. It's no damn argument. We talking about mama here. So this shit that they talking about here it is again. It's code words, because they put the reptilian in there for black people. You see? Meanwhile, they got T.D. Jakes down in Atlanta doing that bullshit with the woman. They got all the black churches and stuff like that. All this stuff is centered around this whole thing. You see what I'm saying? But going back, it's a form of warfare. It's a form of doggone warfare. So this whole concept, he gonna say that these people are coming. And this is what he said. He said this blue man is coming. Well, the blue man is us. We the black man. They call us, so you see the blue gods of India. Native American blue thing.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Even the most ancient, one of the most ancient gods in the book, Thrice Great Hermes, G.R.S. Mead, he says the god Chemifus. It's a blue tint. That's just a blue-black nigga. You know a blue-black nigga shine blue with the sky on his face. That's the concept of the blue god. Blue-skinned god. The Ramayana talks about the blue-skinned god. The doggone, the blue-skinned god. He says, so that this blue man comes, he gonna be so terrible. You goddamn right he gonna be terrible, because we gonna be kicking ass. Because the blue man is us.
Right.
You're gonna be so terrible that you're gonna run to the white man for an ally. See, I see something's just going on here. You just don't think up some shit like that if you're a black person.
Right.
Because I don't know where you're reading it from, because I got all the damn books. And I study this shit, so you can't come to me some dumb shit now. I'm a scholar now. You can't run that shit on me. Including this clone motherfucker they got, Quaker Muba. Nigga from Africa. So other shit going on here now. Or either the thing here where damn David I tried to cone him a man and make him say something that he was trying to talk about something different. I happen to know that I read the mythology and I know what he's talking about. I call it the demiurge, the Dalabroth and all that. And David I tried to make him go another way different and stuff on it and stuff. And still talk about these shapeshifters and all this, these white people from Mars. White people didn't even know the damn earth was damn round. And they ain't been to no back door yet, but they can come from Mars and shit. If you from another planet, why are you so intrigued with this bullshit down here?
Right.
See, to me, you old enough to say, man, this is all bull.
Right.
But he said this blue race of people is coming. And this is his words. The only people can stop them is melanated people. Now wait a fucking minute here. This is what his words are. Got to tape. That the only people can stop a ass whip for white people is melanated people.
Why would you want to? Right.
But psychologically, the only way that you can stop killing white people is through your melanin, by not accepting your own change or your own mutation into a higher being.
Right.
This shit is script right from the government. I'm telling you. Coming from the government. These motherfuckers are running. And they're running scared now because they know some stuff. And they got black people out here. Some stuff going down. We got to tell it like it is, man, because this is some real deal stuff. You mean to tell me you gonna see, I got a problem when you gonna tell me that some blue man coming. Or some green man, whatever, same melody.
Right.
Green is, Osiris is a green man.
Right.
He's also the god of the perfect black, blue black. And this particular person is coming to kick white people in the ass and kick a few niggas in the ass. Ain't no more than they said Jesus is coming with the sword in his hand. And in so many words, they're talking about all of us raising out the physical. So I already know what the deal is. It goes beyond that. Just breaking out of the matrix. And we're going to have to ally with white people and with our melanin save white people. These reptilians. I'm telling you, it don't come from a black person's mind to make that up. It's got to come from some invention from white people. The Grail has this connection, the Holy Grail has this connection also from Mecca. That's why the whole whole Moorish thing, Islamic thing, Mecca, the Kaaba stone, the black stone that came from Saturn, is also known as the original Grail stone. Simply by convincing, let me get the, hold on 1 minute, let me get my, because I got another piece I got to deal with, hold up. I want to get this right, y'all all right? Hold on 1 minute, see if I get all this out the way. Drop all this here. Get this stuff right. Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, okay. Now, anyway, so the Moors came up, they gave them this Grail mysteries. They gave them different types of texts, all kind of alchemical texts. Stuff that now they call in the New Age and you don't want to deal with. The lesser key of Solomon, the greater key of Solomon. That's the Goetia thing I talk about, and I show those seals. That's all coming from Moorish science. They just, tons of that stuff they just had in the, after they kicked the Moors out, they just translated and preserved all that stuff. John Henry Clark talked about how they put on the preservers and preserved all this history. Nostradamus, one of his teachers was a Moor. They even show that in the movie Nostradamus. They show it in the TV special. NBC did a TV special on Nostradamus in '94, and they showed the Moor following him around. And like Hakeem Bey said, anytime you see a black person in the background, that's the man's teacher, that's the white man's teacher. Even in the movie Rob Roy, they showed a little black boy with a turban on. That's to represent the monarchy of the person who's trying to govern the land, his teacher, teaching him how to damn be civilized. You see what I'm saying? The whole movie, the 13th Warrior, all that shit is the Moors come up there and civilize their ass. Nostradamus' teacher was a Moor. You see what I'm saying? And gave him some of that stuff and made him tap in, let him tap into his higher powers or whatever this deal is, the maximum of what he can do. You see what I'm saying? But you never know, man. They got all kind of little blood stuff going on, little all types of gene mixing going on in Spain, Scotland. Scotland got black origins. France, the city of Isis, Paris, city of Isis, and Ireland. All this stuff. You see what I'm saying? So he could have very well been Negro. Your runes that you see the white people throwing down, that was introduced into Spain, came out of Greece. Greece, it was the actual original writings of the Etruscans. It came out of Greece and smuggled on up in there because they took all this stuff around the ancient world, there's tons of stuff, and brought it up into Europe. So your runes you see white people, that's nothing but ancient writing stuff that came out of Kemet. It's like some ancient Typhonian stuff, pre-dynastic stuff. They got several types of script, but one of those, your runes, that you see them the little stones with the little symbols on it, that's our stuff. The Tarot cards, which they say come out of Kemet, but introduced into Spain by the Moors. From the Tarot cards, you get the playing cards. which is not the same tarot. You can read from the playing cards just like you can the tarot cards. But the tarot cards are more than a divination system. It is an archetype of the collective unconsciousness, and it is a picture windows of melanin. One of the most advanced decks is put that back, all that symbology is the Crawley's Thoth deck. Which gives you, because the god Awas put back all of that particular symbology. So it is it's probably the most authentic on the planet, because a lot of the symbology is put back. You see, Raul never gives you one. His is only for divination purposes, but the arcana, or the actual picture window of melanin and the journey, is put back of the soul. You see, it's the soul. Your Wicca, that witchcraft, all that shit they do ain't nothing but Moorish priestess of the dog star, Vitch. Come from the word bitch. Comes from the word dog star. Priestess of the dog star, witch, Wicca, wise one, witchcraft. What's that, sister?
What's the name of that deck you said took us back to the most original?
The Crawley's, Aleister Crawley's Thoth deck. Thoth is the god, the Egyptian god Tahuti. It's called the Book of Thoth, is the name of the book, and the deck comes along with it is the Thoth deck. You can buy, actually you can, yeah. No, I suggest get the deck and get the blue book, the Book of Thoth. It's, you know, it's real detailed, but it's one of the best, it's probably the best out. But I wouldn't suggest using the Thoth deck as a system of divination and reading. There's plenty of tarot decks you can get to read and divine the future. I would suggest taking the Thoth deck and the Crawley book as a system of trying to understand the archetype of the collective unconsciousness and the melanin inside of us. And this is a picture window to deal with all that. Astronomical, astrological, alchemical. So that particular Thoth deck is is one of the most authentic. But if you want to read the tarot deck, you get the Rider-Waite deck. Rider-Waite, A-E-Waite. And that particular deck is one of the ones that they tell you if you want to learn how to read the tarot. What's that?
What about the meta-metric?
See, the meta deck is basically only an oracle for reading. He basically took the whole major arcana and minor arcana off the deck. So we realized there's a reason why all that symbology and all those pictures and stuff is there. So he just made a deck for divination where you read, but there's no major or minor arcana on the deck. So as far as the outside of the reading, you can't do anything with it other than the reading. What's that?
I want to ask you about the Ouija board.
The Ouija board introduced, they say, the Ouija board was introduced into Spain by the Moors. Good question. The Moors brought that into Spain. And the magical system, you know, later on Parker Brothers got it and say it's a toy and all, but actually the Ouija board is introduced into what you call it, by Spain. There's a movie out on the Ouija board called Witchboard. 1 and 2. And they explain all that type of stuff and all that introduced into Spain. But your witchcraft, all that stuff was nothing but Moorish priestesshood. And then they had a rebellion against the Pope. And the church was rebelling against the leftover shit based on that, because what happened is the Moors introduced all forms of Freemasonry. But they quartered off in their secret societies, and the Pope and them also went after them, but there was male groups. And because of the Pope and them being a doggone secret society also too, they kind of respected the boundaries. But they literally made war on the whole witchcraft thing. They said that female thing, you know, the way they made war on them, and they burned thousands of them white women. You see what I'm saying? Those particular white women also too. But you got the Gnosticism, which is the ancient form of that comes out of Alexandria Kemet, what you call Coptic Kemet, was also later on brought up into a group of Freemasonry, group of secret society called the Cathars. That's all Moorish science. The Enochian system, you get the Book of Enoch, which comes from Ethiopia, but there's also something called the Slavic Book of Enoch. And And then you have what is called the Enochian system, which is this angelic system with an angelic writing, which they trace back only to a group of people in Africa who have the phonics or the phonetics to deal with this particular angelic writing. They traced it back to Africa. But so-called John Dees, which is supposed to be the soothsayer or the magician for Queen Elizabeth, supposedly had some type with this guy named Edward Kelly. And they supposedly had, Edward Kelly was the psychic and all, and he supposedly had taken these texts and tapped into these Enochian angels, and they probably did have some dealing with them. But basically, John Dees, by him being the magician for Queen Elizabeth, and Elizabeth, kind of like an outcast herself, she tolerated the magician thing and the magic thing, and she let him get run of the British Museum, where they had cultivated all this Moorish stuff. She let him get run of the British Museum, and he went in there and translated all these Enochian texts. That ain't nothing but Moorish science. But in the Enochian text, they have computer chips up in there. And they also had, yes, in this, right in the shit, because we had the computer shit. We had the gun, you know, we gave that shit away, the fire stick. But they got computer chips right in the Enochian science. There's a book, The Enochian World by The Enochian Magic. There's several books on Enochian Magic. You'll see the computer chip. They also call it the Grand Table. They also have something called the Black Cross up in there. Now, if you notice the movie Vampires, John Carpenter, this vampire was trying to get this Black Cross so he could have the night walkers walk in the daytime again. The night walkers is nothing but called the night workers. It's talking about the melanin people, or the melanin inside of us. And it's talking about the full manifestation of the melanin gods walking in the daytime again. And it's talking about the manifestation of the melanin kingdom. And it's done through the Black Cross. The Black Cross is the same as the Kundalini energy inside of you, where you have the staff in the caduceus, or you have the God on the cross. It's the God on the crossroads, which is a leg bar. So, this Black Cross, you'll find it in the Enochian stuff. All that shit was brought up by Moors, plagiarized by John Dees. Said it was his shit. You see what I'm saying? All forms of alchemy is brought up into Spain by the Moors, including in the book, what's his name book? Walter Scott, no, not Walter Scott, Ernest Scott's book, said that they went up with alchemy to make a non-aberrated man. And aberrate means abnormal, unusual, unnatural. So they was even trying to work with alchemical types of structures in the Moorish universities to try to doggone to make a soul and to give a white man a soul. Literally, it's in the book, People of the Secret, Ernest Scott. They failed, but they was trying to recorrect an experiment gone bad. And as you know, the Hermetic text, Walter Scott's Hermetica, his book, says our problem as Egyptians is we learn how to create another man. That's what Walter Scott's book said. Our biggest problem is we learn how to create another man. You see what I'm saying? And stuff. So this is what the Egyptians said. All forms of Christian mysticism that you think this whole Christ thing, that was a whole other system. Do you know that the whole Pope shit is an advanced secret society? And they telling you all that old that old other bullshit. Here's a book called Theosophia by Arthur Verse Lewis, The Hidden Dimensions of Christianity. A lot of this was brought up in the Moors too, but the whole papacy and stuff, Theosophia, is a form of, the Pope and them do is a whole form of Isis worship, of Sophia, and they go through a whole science, and that old bullshit he working around, all that old shit is for slavery. They worship a whole nother damn order. This book, Theosophia, Arthur Verse Lewis book, goes into that science. You see, goes into that science and stuff. Which leads us to the other aspect, which was which was the Necronomican mystery. Now, the Necronomicon is supposed to be something that was supposed to be thought of in the minds of the author H.P. Lovecraft. Now, H.P. Lovecraft was supposed to have thought up this so-called Necronomicon, yeah, which is supposed to be this one by Simon, put out in 1977. Around the same time you had your whole same time you had your whole, what's that guy that took the people to Guyana and killed them?
Jim Jones.
Jim Jones shit was happening. But now they put out this Necronomicon here in 1977. 1977. But I want to get another one because this one is very interesting. There's another Necronomicon came out. Let me see that I got it in the bag over here. I'll go into this science in a few minutes. In 1980, they put out this one, the Necronomicon, edited by George Hay. It's called the Book of the Dead Names, edited by George Hay, and written with introduction by Colin Wilson. You can still get this book, it's still in print. It's real hard to get in the mid-90s and stuff, but they had such a demand on it, they said, fuck it, we need to make the money. Now, in here, it says the Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead Names, written by, I'm going to put this right here, the Moor, El Haziz, that's Hazarad, El Hazarad, written by the Moor. They also got John Dees down here, Dr. Dees, which is supposed to be the person over the whole Enochian thing. So here it is, they explaining that this shit is some Moorish documents.
You know, even H.P. Lovecraft always said it was written by the mad Arab.
The mad Arab.
Al-Hazrazad.
Al-Hazrazad. Well, they're saying right here in 1980 that it was a Moor.
Turn a little bit.
You see?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. That it was a Moor. This book is still in print by George Hay. Now it's interesting because they're saying in here, they say another story. They say that these texts that they got up in here were so old, it was written in a type of Arabic, that they had to go and find certain people in a certain part of Arabia that even spoke this type of Arabic. So we was talking about ancient black people, remnants of ancient black people who still spoke this type of Arabic. You see what I'm saying? Then they say they're supposed to put out another book called the Rayleigh text. This book came out in 1980. The Rayleigh text, which was supposed to come out like a year or so after, didn't end up coming out till 1995, 15 years later. And this is the point that it says right here. I wanted this part here is key. The occult historian Robert Turner tells us that there is a race that rides curiously in the tandem with humanity. A shadowy, anytime you hear the word shadow, in Jung psychology is melanin. An intense and inseparable Mr. Hyde. So that whole Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is talking about another aspect of you. You in this thing thinking you Bobby Hemmett or whoever you are, but there's another part that rides concurrently with you, a whole other race of beings, which is your higher selves inside of you. And that's what the Necronomicon, or these Book of the Dead names, are these particular great old ones they call. You see, that says that a Mr. Hyde, they said he has at last managed to unearth the text, the complete pungent and magical grimoire known as the Necronomicon. This is the Rayleigh text. So these two books are still in print. You can still get these books, the Rayleigh text and the Necronomicon. Now the point is this stuff is some stuff that was left over by the Moors. left over by the Moors also too. Now let's go into the Necronomican because I want to go some rehashing on that thing too. Let's see here. I want to deal with some of this stuff too. Because all this is Moorish science. And basically the Necronomican tells of a race of people who used to be on the earth that lost their foothold on society. And fell into a sleep mode. The key to the Necronomicon is the great Cthulhu. He is supposed to be the great God that is supposed to be the great pristine God that's supposed to rise up in the end. But it's interesting because Cthulhu, if you go to South Africa, they got the God Unkulu Kulu. Cthulhu, Unkulu Kulu, same shit. You see all, so Cthulhu is a great old one resembling a crow octopus, octopus-headed humanoid and great bat-like wings. Anytime you hear this and stuff, these are hieroglyphs. Just like you got the dragon, just like you got the gargoyle, and just like you got all these things. These are hieroglyphs for, these are hieroglyphs to explain chaos. It's explaining alchemical symbols, it's explaining melanin, and it's not necessarily to be taken literal. So that's what they're doing with this whole reptilian bullshit. You thinking it's literal reptilian people. Whereas in actuality, they have taken symbology and made it into the reptilian thing to fool your ass. So in here, this is basically, he's doing the same thing, but he's not doing it to fool. They just basically, he's trying to write the actual story to explain it in a horror fashion, which is the key to the father of horror, basically in this country, is H.P. Lovecraft. And Cthulhu sleeps beneath the Pacific Ocean, according to the legend, but will one day awaken and rule the world. The records have it that Cthulhu's origins are fragmentary, but it seems that originated from the world of Varul and the 23rd nebula. All this stuff is just talking about basically coming from one dimension to the next. He later traveled to the green double planet Ox, where he mated with a creature called Ibaya and produced the Great Old Ones. From here, Cthulhu and his children, a race of beings known as Cthulhi, flew to Saturn, and from Saturn descended to Earth. All this is a mythology. Don't take it literal. It's mythology to explain a migration from us coming from one realm to another, and there's different mythology to explain stuff like this. This particular mythos, you know, this particular mythos. Hold on now. Upon their arrival, the Cthulhu in his routine took up residence at the continent of the South Pacific of the Pacific Ocean, where they built a great stone city called Rayleigh. Now here's the Pacific Ocean again, because that's what they also call Lemuria in the Pacific. The whole key here is that all of it was all one landmass and one people. You see what I'm saying? All one landmass and one people. You know. At first, the Cthulhu spawn encountered a residence from the elder thing. That's supposed to be like the dinosaurs or whatever type thing, who dwelt on Earth millions of years before Cthulhu's coming. The following war, in which Cthulhu's spawn destroyed the elder things, and their land cities, the two species declared peace and agreed not to harass each other. Now let's break this down. In so many words, it means this. When we first got to the planet, we were in the spiritual realm and not in the physical realm. But the physical realm was a young realm, I'll talk about this all the time, was a young realm that was on its way and it was rising, coming to being what we have now. During that particular time, these elder things, or these dinosaurs or whatever type of species that they had, was in that particular realm, including these ape things that the white man, these hominid things that the white man trying to tell you we came from. We didn't come from no apes or no hominids or none of this other shit that the Afrocentric bullshit people is talking about here. We was always gods, just like I figured in hell, if we got some scriptures, why can't a black motherfucker show me where the Egyptians say we come from apes? See, I believe that we put down too much information to take the white man's fake shit, you see, over what really happened. You see what I'm saying? I don't see it in none of the texts. I've yet to see it, and I've been studying this thing for the last 12 years. And then the other stuff for at least the last 8 years on the esoteric thing, and I don't see it in that either. You see what I'm saying? But you know, to be on that college campus, you gotta agree to that, or they put you in the religious department. It can't be the truth. You either got to be the evolutionist or the religionist. And in order for you to be considered a legitimate scholar, you got to accept the Darwin's bullshit. You see. And that's just to throw off the earth from knowing the knowledge of the white man, because you ask knowing the knowledge of the ancient black man. Well, the black man has always been here. Where the hell did you come from, cracker? So bring them all from apes. So, the following agreement, Cthulhu. So let me go back to this particular part. So what happened was we started slipping into the physical realm. We realized that we was the gods and we was losing time. That we wasn't going to be able to live on no fucking earth with no big ass dinosaurs or whatever. They eat up all the fucking food.
Yeah.
But at one time we existed simultaneously with them. But it was almost like semi-dimensional. So we decided we got to eliminate the ass. So this whole thing that went down to kill them, and that was nothing but the gods killing their ass. That was us that killed them, because we knew that we had to take over this thing, and these big ass, clumsy ass things had to go. If we didn't create them for amusement in the first place.
Right.
There's so much of this stuff that's actually hidden. You see what I'm saying? And somebody then don't have to, and please don't come, it's beyond the point where you look at it and be saying, well, is this brother legitimate or not? Because clearly the shit that you get that you calling legitimacy is straight up lies, so who the hell you gonna believe?
Right.
We at least have sought the shit all out spiritually, because you damn sure can't believe what you call scholarship. That's a goddamn joke. History is a lie agreed upon. Do you know that lying is a metaphysical art? You're supposed to always lie in this society, especially to the cracker. Never ever tell the truth. When his whole civilization is based off a lie, what the fuck you doing telling the truth? That's why he tells you it's so important for you to be honest. Because honesty down here means slavery.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Anybody ever did some real good lying? It's an art form of that shit. And I know a lot of sisters can't lie like that. You know, somebody will shut your ass down. You know, lying is a several level arts. If this is a matrix and an illusion, it's what you create. And the white boy understands that. That's why he defines reality through a lie. And right now, 98% of what we live in this country, even the America freedom itself, is a lie. And yet it is reality to us.
Right.
So that means that the lie has to be just as important as the damn truth. So he tells you never tell a lie, because that's his realm. That's preserved for the people who rule over your ass.
Right.
That's why he tells you to be honest. Oh, be honest. You know what I'm saying? Lie. Try it sometime. Lying is a metaphysical art. Lying. They say rhetoric is seven little arts. When you break down rhetoric, there can be some lies thrown up in that shit. This is science. Never tell the truth to the white man. I try to lie every damn time. Just be lying my ass off. Like my brother getting a 5-car pileup. He the one at fault. I said, oh shit, they're gonna kill me insurance. Nigga find a old blue mark on the back of his damn Navigator and say, hey man, some man in a blue car hit me and haul ass. Lied so good, the man said, all y'all report your thing to your own insurance company. You see what I'm saying? Now I'm not talking about compulsive lie, that's something different. Compulsive mind is a person trying to make up stuff because they messed up in the head.
Right.
And they can't, they feel that they're not accepted not unless they tell some feel or some fantasy aspect of it. I'm not talking about that.
Right.
I'm talking about lying as a metaphysical damn art. See what I'm saying? The brothers know what I'm talking about. You so lie to these women.
They know they do it good.
A lot of times, giving them what they want to believe. And then you tell the truth, the day your ass will be on the street too.
Oh, say that.
Brother, I got a girl now and stuff. She wouldn't give me none for a whole year. Cause she had a high school sweetheart, was in the army. She was saving herself and wouldn't give me none. And I got some ass based on a nigga not knowing how to lie. Thank you, you fucking idiot, you. Went over there and screwed someone over there in damn Asia. In the Navy, you're a young boy. Come back home and told the damn truth. I was living in South Carolina. I had moved to Atlanta. He told the truth. She jumped right on the damn road to come give me that stuff that I was due with. That she had held back from his ass because she was wanting to give it to me anyway. She jumped right on the damn road, was in there screwing me and going, the nigga didn't have to tell me the truth. She's like, damn, why did the nigga lie to me? She said, he's an idiot. Now, what fool would tell somebody some shit like that, how you screwed some woman over there? So one thing is, you don't want to know the truth either. You can't handle the truth.
Right.
So now, go back. The following arrangements, Cthulhu enjoyed many years in this world. During the millions of years humanity slowly evolved. That means that Cthulhu in them later on grew physical bodies. So when humanity evolved, it means that we became more and more condensed into the physical bodies and stuff, and more and more condensed into the physical bodies. Cthulhu spoke of these new beings through telepathy because it was speaking, your spirit was speaking from inside out. You see what I'm saying? Through telepathy and through their dreams. See, you gotta know how to read the mythology. Telling them to find statues in his image that had brought down from the stars, instructing them in the proper worship of the Lord of Rayleigh. So basically, they had to go and they had to find, and basically it was only the God on the inside of us had grown physical bodies, and this physical brain was telling us that we are this. And so Cthulhu and them had to go, which is the spiritual energy inside of you, talking inside out to tell you no and more, no, we these great gods. You thinking there's some great gods up there, and no, your spirit is telling you, I'm the great God that used to rule the universe. That now you thinking you worshiping up there, which in actuality is yourself.
Right.
You know, the Zohar tells you, coming from the Moorish from Spain, that the gods in heaven, the man on earth say God is on high, while the angels in heaven say God lives on earth. This was the Zohar coming out of Kemet and found in Spain. And the same thing with doggone Elijah Muhammad said the same thing. That the gods in heaven and stuff worship the black man on earth. You see, well, they say we are the heirs to the earth. So one day disaster struck, and the stone city Rayleigh, which means our consciousness totally condensed into this particular physical body, and may have been vengeance from the elder deities charged from the stars and the moons and ripped from the earth. And anyway, so what happened was this here, to make a long story short. Cthulhu and them fell and supposedly had, their consciousness was immersed down in the ocean. Anytime you hear something about the ocean, because in some of the scripture, even Osiris was drowned. Other than they saying he was cut up, he was drowned. So in so many words, they're talking about a consciousness that became dormant inside of us. Inside of us. You see what I'm saying? Cthulhu and all of his spawn The water blocked out their telepathic signals, making them unable to communicate with their worshippers only through dreams. They fell asleep but could not die. That means they're talking about our soul. They were helpless to do anything but wait until the day when the stars were right and they'd be freed from their prisoners. Since then, Cthulhu's tombs will emerge from the water, which is talking about this consciousness from time to time, freeing itself from brief durations. These have only been short replies of the great old one. So in so many words, what it means is it's still talking about this particular consciousness. And this is what this Necronomican is all talking about. But to break this thing down, we are the great old ones. And this is a story of our soul. Because isn't it interesting that H.P. Lovecraft, which is supposed to be the author of this stuff, in the book put out H.P. Lovecraft, a study in fantasy, put out by Wayne State University. White man got his damn PhD from this shit. And we bullshitting around and talking, I'm an engineer. White man got his PhD from this Cthulhu myth. There's a book out, they got the book out now, Wayne State University put it out, a great book. They set it up at Borders bookstore. And in there he said that H.P. Lovecraft was an ultra racist. But if you're ultra racist, why would you name the only human figure that he names of the whole Necronomicon is nearly Hotep, which is the black man? If you're a racist, we know all racists, they ain't gonna let no hero of their shit. The only human figure, the Christ figure, won't be no black man. Shit, I see books right now on angels, and don't be a damn number. You figure shit. Y'all, the Chinese, the Japanese, the Mexicans, the Eskimos, the Native Americans, the Arabians, we just talking all kinds of damn people.
Right.
The South Americans, the Amerasians, the Indians, the Tibetans, all the goddamn angels is white. Mm-hmm. So we talking about people that can't force themselves to date. They're putting nothing but white. Mm-hmm. How is it this man here is supposed to be a racist going to actually put this stuff down on nearly Hotep, the only human figure in the doggone mythos as a black man? Well, number one, he was having these dreams. And these particular dreams, he was writing down all this particular information. He was having these dreams every night. And what happened is, after a couple of years, he wrote from a couple of years, I guess about a good 7 or 8 years. After a couple of years, he said, I'm not going to write the shit down no more. And as a result, he was having these dreams, and he just quit on it, and he developed brain cancer. It's all in this book, the Necronomicon, George Haight, and all. He developed brain cancer. You see what I'm saying? So the chief central figure is the black man. You see what I'm saying? Is the doggone black man. But now one of the keys, which we talk about the sleep and all this stuff, which is melanin. And dreams are nothing but doggone the images of melanin. But like we say, you come back to this realm, you wake up, and because what you saw was not capable of being produced on the physical, and your brain can only deal with holographic images, it overcompensates, and you ride a bicycle, eat some ice cream, and with a monkey on you. There's all kind of crazy shit to go on. But every now and then you get lucid dreams where your spirit is trying to tell you something's going to happen. You see what I'm saying? Dreamland is where the whole thing jumps off, and which is supposed to be the earthly paradise is supposed to come through. It's on the dreamland thing. Dreamland is an alternative dimension accessible to a person's dreams. Early in life, people can enter dreamland at will. Children have it all the time. But as adulthood approaches, because of puberty, and you thinking that you them earrings or you that necktie and shit, you know the high school fuckers all up. As puberty approaches, this gateway closes down for the majority of dreamers. Also, the white man, his falcified gland, his pineal gland, totally calcifies at puberty. Only a few adults are able to enter this land again through the use of certain narcotics. What I told you, to get your valerian root, that's going to be the natural shit to go to the dreamland based on sleep, valerian root, and simply dedicated dreaming. Some physical portholes between dreamlands and waking worlds do exist, but these gateways are few and often very dangerous locales in those realms. That's what white people. That's white people, and shit is very dangerous to them, because that's why they had to take tryptophan off the market. With the tryptophan is the shit in Turkey and stuff that make you go to sleep. They had to take it off the market because they used to have just straight up tryptophan because the shit was driving white people crazy. You see what I'm saying? And it's very dangerous for them because they don't have the whole melanin thing, and that's just like the end of the zone for their ass, like a brick wall. So ain't nowhere to go, and they can get killed behind this particular thing. But the dreamland is the particular aspect. It is the connection based on that. Based on like I say, the melanin and all this kind of thing. Now, let's get into some sexual tantra thing right now. What time is it? How many hours is that so far? 5 on tape. Yeah, okay. Let's get into some sexual tantra thing right now. I want to get into this while the stuff is still on. While the stuff is still hot and all. I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to go take a water bill again. I've been drinking that damn water, so. You going to just keep it running? I'm going to go use the, you know, you can keep it running and all. I'm drinking that water and all, so we can get into this type thing here and all. Plus, I don't want to have to urinate and get into all that sexual thing and all. And,
Right.
warfare. It's a literal warfare we're going to go into, because what we're going to do is we're not going to wait for the defensive. So we always wait for the defensive, and the white boy strike, we on the defense. And he's striking, it takes us 20, 30 years just to recuperate. You see what I'm saying? What about going on the damn warfare, the offensive on his ass? When everything is cool, we strike. So we talk about going on the doggone offensive, and we're going to go through some of this particular stuff tomorrow on the offensive aspect of this particular part too. Now, number one, the white boy might run this motherfucker, but he don't run around this motherfucker, but he don't run this shit. He knows something. Now here it is, that this is the book Kundalini for a New Age, if you can still get it. Kundalini for a New Age. Now Farrakhan said something one time, and he was rolling on this thing when he did this in the Power Tour in 1984 or 85. Up in Madison Square Garden, I think it was 84. He said, do you want your slave to go to war with you, white man? He said, because if we go to war with you, we will win. It's just that they never could convince us to step out against the white man and go to hit up war. But let's just say it this way. Let's say if the white man attacked us, overtly and not covertly, we will win this thing. That's why he will never do that shit. Never. You see. Now, this book, Kundalini for a New Age, Scientific Investigation, there are devices that will come into operation at the time of seemingly annihilated nuclear war to save the race from extinction. They say nuclear war or whatever type thing here. He's just giving a thing based on genocide also too, because it's more than just that. So they're saying that they did a lot of work on the Kundalini energy. They got all kinds of Sanskrit texts that know, just like anything else, you have animals that get a certain burst of power and energy and stuff that protect themselves, and that's when they get fucked up humans. Because most animals are scared of us. And when they're attacked violently because they go into that thing based on protection. They know that us connected to the doggone universe, this Kundalini energy inside of us, that during a certain time, now not necessarily 200, 300 years ago, because the time was not right. But this particular time, when certain latent forces are lined up, although they're still a little dormant, they're still lined up and they're waiting to go. That if the white boy strikes out and he gets a certain people with a certain amount of fear, this shit, this force can kick in. And this force kicks in and kill up everything on this damn planet, which it's going to do anyway. You see, I talked about this before and all. I had already did the investigation years ago in this book, Kundalini for a New Age, selected writings from Gopi Krishna. So if you can't get this one, get any books on Gopi Krishna. Gopi, Agapi, G-O-P-I, Krishna. Any books on Gopi Krishna. K-R-I-S-H-N-A. He has a lot of books, Kundalini, Evolutionary Enlightenment, Awakening the Kundalini. But all that stuff, you'll get some of this particular information and stuff. But it's dealing with this particular science and they know it. That's the damn reptilian they talking about. Them going to war with the reptilian. This reptilian that they're going to war with is us. And they got to do the shit covertly and they got to sneak around now with the bullshit. Telling you that the reptilians is evil, which is the Kundalini energy. That's the devices in the body that he's talking about. That's the devices in the body that he's talking about. Now, the key is the Kundalini energy is sexual energy. Put that right there. Kundalini energy is sexual energy. Get all this out of the way. That's what the Kundalini energy is. It's the real power. We talked about that in the tapes and stuff. That's what this stuff is. Now, this is why they had to stop the sexual revolution of the late 60s and the 70s. Because they knew that you having origins and all kinds of stuff, getting your freak on at a certain time might release a certain energy, or might release a certain field, a certain electromagnetic force field, or magnetism field, or a certain energy field that might produce a whole atmosphere conducive to raising this Kundalini on a higher level. So they had to invent this AIDS scare shit of the 1980s to stop the sexual promiscuity or sexual freedom. Now how is we end up in the goddamn 90s? Almost Puritan and less freaky than the damn 50s.
That's the truth.
Damn near fucking Stone Ages on this shit. And free love was the shit. You know what I'm saying? Get some damn penicillin and keep going. Keep getting up. But they had to stop this thing because it's all about the sexual energy, and the sexual energy is the mistress to the whole mistress system. We're going to get into that right now. The sexual energy in ancient Kemet, first of all, the goddess Maya is supposed to be the end in ancient Kemet. The goddess Maya is also the goddess Set Maya because the word Met, Set and Maat is the same. So Setmet is the goddess of sexual energy called the second Aru. Fields of blood, that particular paradisal realm that I was talking about, is all based on the whole sexual energy. In India, her name is Shakti. The Shakti power is the same power as the Shekinah in Hebrew. Now, the Hebrew talk about Israel will remain in exile as long as the Shekinah is in exile. The Shekinah is the feminine energy of the Kabbalah and the whole Hebrew mythology and the whole Hebrew mystery. But they don't go deep into the mysteries of Shekinah as they do in India. Shekinah is segment in Kemet, Maya in Kemet. Shekinah is also Yeminya in West Africa, Emiya in the Dogon aspect. Any female deity that's set over the end times. But she's Shakti power in India. Now this is very important. I'm going to go into some stuff right now so you can understand something. In the world prior to let me get this right. The Typhonian world, which I always talk about, which is the pre-dynastic world, the Typhonian tradition matured and declined even before the first monumental phases of early civilizations, before we even built the great monuments of ancient Kemet. This witnessed the fragments of magical, mystical lore once current in ancient Egypt and the Far East. The tradition lingered on and became corrupt in the passage of epics of gradual attrition to the old age lineage of initiates. The harassment by warring factions seeking temporal power at the expense of intemporal space-time knowledge sifted the sparks and fueled the springs of ancient wisdom. This reappeared in later centuries in obscure alchemical writings of the West. Occult tantras trace it to that prove this powerful resurgence of remarkable phenomenon in recent times. So this Typhonian realm that we talk about is pre-dynastic Egypt. And they had a general religious spiritual practice. And that religious spiritual practice, or that spiritual aspect, was sexual tantra. Sexual tantra. They was later on replaced. Now, Shekinah is just another reference of that feminine energy, but the guy A.E. Waits wrote a whole book, wrote a whole section on the Shekinah, this feminine energy, and he made one statement that he realized. He said he said, we now have to consider the Shekinah in the light of all her attributes. And I do not believe that I have omitted a single reference of at least importance found in the text of the Zohar, which is supposed to be this book that was found in Spain that gives you the written Kabbalah. And while all have been regarded critically, the conclusion is regarding that of the Shekinah is the precedent of a mystery of sex is the direction that we must look. So in so many words, this whole thing of trying to raise to this high spiritual level is all based on sex. All based on sex. Now, let's go into some stuff right now. Dr. Ben said that the kingdom of heaven is is between the legs of the black woman. That's what Dr. Ben said. He saw something in the temple walls that made him say that to this day. We all thought it was funny, and we just said, well, you know, we can. The brother said, yeah, we can agree to that shit.
We can't problem.
You know what I'm saying? And he said, yeah, motherfucker is heaven. One guy was screwing this woman, and his boys came by, and they took a little fella and stuck it in the window and was tickling his foot while he was on that. And so that nigga was like this. He was like this. He said he was doing everything, but he was not trying to stop what the hell he was doing. He was shaking his foot, and he was doing whatever it was, but he was not trying to get up off that doggone behind. So, this kingdom is called the second Aru, fields of blood. It's called also in the Tibetan realm, the Lama Yin, the dragon's realm, the Dracula dimension, the ultimate black hole, Maya, Shekinah segment. It's also called the layer of Apep, the layer of the dragon, dragon's blood. All this stuff is talking about the feminine energy. That was replaced by the Raphois, which is the masculine energy at the beginning of creation. That bring creation. Now, the Ra patriarchal zone are the place that took the culture, and it took a culture from, it replaced the culture of the great round. That's the snake biting his tail. You see that? That's called a great round. And this energy made linear. So they made one of the great round, this spiritual energy, which is also the black hole, and they made it linear by taking the flow of sperm downward instead of upward, back into the Alpha Draconis, the great mother realm, the doorway to the black, back to heaven. So we're talking about also the pineal gland. The left-hand path is the sexual flow of Tantra. That is the original practice of the pre-dynastic Typhonian Kamite Draconians, the cult of Cam, or the Ophidian cult. That's another name for it. That man, that put man back into the doorway of the second Aru. So it's something that I'll explain this in a few minutes. There's a realm that we're supposed to be in based on this heaven realm that was taken the other way. The primordial paradise of bliss. The process totally and psychologically, the process is totally psychological. The dynastic Egyptians who replaced the Typhonian Egyptians, what they did was they replaced the Typhonian Egyptian science of the woman's sexuality called the Setmaya, the sexual heat, by centering the sexual mysteries around the male's energy, of the downward flow of the solar phallic energy, sperm, semen, or whatever. Now, this is the key on this. What had happened was this here. This particular energy was replaced. The other energy was a certain spiritual energy, was called the second Aru. The Typhonian Egyptians, what they would do is they would practice this sexual tantra stuff that later on moved out of Kemet into India. And basically this was to cultivate the male sperm to go back up to the pineal gland and charge the chakras of the body and all of this particular stuff. Also to charge the chakras of the body. The feminine energy was replaced psychologically, and how they was able to replace this psychologically was this. They convinced women that this energy was negative, evil, obedient to God. Now, what are we talking about here? I told you that the older a woman's supposed to get, the more a woman's supposed to try to have sex. As well as sexual promiscuity, because you tapped into a certain realm that you can experience sex on a whole nother level. See what I'm saying? On a whole nother level. Other than the childbearing age, there's a whole lot of power comes. And if you feel like you say, well, I don't feel like doing that. It's just a part of practice. You don't do something, you lose the desire for it. The more you do it, the more and more you open up the actual senses for that particular aspect. Now let's look at this thing. In the pre-dynastic world, and this is how you know that stuff is changed around. The woman who had multiple sex was revered as a higher spiritual being. Now let's turn this around, because now the man who has multiple sex things, you call him You might say he has a dog and all this shit, but you kind of admire him as being the playboy. James Bond movie series is based off that damn shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got the old ass Hugh Hefner out there in the Playboy Mansion, all these young ass people and stuff. And like Bill, like your boy David Letterman said, I wouldn't get in that fucking swimming pool for $1 million. All them asses been up in there for over the years. But anyway, that is revered as some type of male dominance. If you got the man that all the women want and he's all this kind of thing. But let's look at this thing physiologically. The ancient world, prior to the patriarchal order, the woman was revered as a higher spiritual being by having multiple sex partners. Your whole polygamy system was later on introduced into the patriarchal world, was introduced by the woman. To give the man some balance, to give the woman some balance, for the simple fact there wasn't enough men to go around, so you share it with your sister. But it was originally in the pre-dynastic world. In the pre-dynastic world, the harem belonged to the goddamn woman.
That's right.
Now you saying this is some crazy shit. So that's the way your mind is programmed. Well, let's look at this physiologically. The harem belongs to the man, and the man is inadequate to handle multiple sex partners. But physiologically, the woman can handle multiple sex partners even in one fucking night.
Right.
I've seen this shit done.
You know that. Well, right.
I've seen it done at Morris Brown College, Benedict College, Clark College. You get one female, you had to strip naked when you go in the room. And I've seen these sisters take them all on. Then go out the goddamn IHOP, eat a Rudy Tooty Fresh. Eat a Rudy Tooty Fresh and fruity. Take them on. And it wasn't no shit. And this was obsessive. I'm talking about a line down the hall. I saw the shit. I saw two sisters knock out about 40-something men. If God is I'm lying, my mama's a bitch with boots on. I saw it. Two sisters take out damn near a whole dormitory. Now that's obsessive. Now what about on a normal function when we talking just regular multiple partners? The woman can do it. But we have been trained, you understand what I'm saying? Based on that male patriarchal shit, based on the harem and all that stuff, he can't do jack shit. Motherfucker can't go over fucking 30 minutes.
30 seconds.
3 second man. Let's be honest with this stuff. Say what? See what I'm saying? So my point is even when you break this thing down physiologically based on the human nature, human anatomy, obviously one thing is fucking an illusion and one thing is reality. So this whole primordial, now, let me read some of this stuff here. Our patriarchal society, in our patriarchal society, the woman must be subservient to men. Her sexuality must be suppressed. For if allowed to exert herself, she will change the male order. In giving priority to the female side of humans, the left-hand path, the tantra, is opposed to the Aryan patriarchal order of the, so they're saying even the Indians, based on some of their patriarchal thing coming down from the Aryan thing, but the original Aryans was black, but they're talking about also these ones that they call the Aryans, now these white things, of India had to suffer the unrelenting harassment, unrelenting harassment for it. So they're saying that the woman had to suffer based on a patriarchal thing in India, based on these Aryan things coming down and shutting out this whole thing. There's a good book out on this thing. It's called, it's a good book on here. The guy makes a great statement and all. It's called Tantra. It's called Tantra, The Cult of the Feminine. Tantra by Andre Van Lysebeth. 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 Whatever that is. $30, so you know the shit is good. The stuff is good. Now, going back to this particular stuff, how they was able to do this was they was able to convince the woman that all of this stuff was evil. All of this stuff was evil. Now, let me show you some other things. Now, one aspect is a sexual tantra where you take the sperm and you learn how to take the sperm and go back up. You take the sperm and it travels back up to the Kundalini energy. And basically what you do is you find a way to stop the sperm and all, but basically it's not a physical thing. The energy, when it comes down, is physical, but the energy is spiritual. You imagine the sperm traveling back up your spine, up into your third eye, up into your third eye. Now I'm gonna show you another way we're gonna do this thing also too in a few minutes. In a few minutes, but show you another way we're gonna do this too. Lust is good. That's why Crawley in his throat deck has a whole section. One of the cards is the lust card. Lust is a primal energy that's in us. That's why you lust. That's why the Bible tells you not to lust. Anything the damn Bible tells you to do. As much as you fucked up down here, you need to just change your damn habits based on doggone tradition and based on experiences. If something's going wrong.
Yeah.
Lust is a primal force that is in us. Now, there's latent energies in the melanin called Shaktis, Kalas, and Ojas. These energies, when they raise up, they can transform the body.